And I'm going to put my headphones on now. Tell me, because I'm changing the sound here for headphones. Tell me if you can't hear me.
Hear me. Anybody, can you hear me?
Yes, it just sounds a little bit different.
Is it better?
It's a little bit more muffled, but it's okay.
How about now?
That's good.
That's good there.
For me, it is. I don't know about anybody else.
How about Rhea?
Oh, it's fine.
It's good. Okay. Rhea, in your well, on my bottom left, there's a mute and unmute button. Yours might be up at the top. Okay. Okay, we have somebody else joining us. So,
Oh, that is my friend Carrie that's hopping on.
Okay.
cool.
Hi.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi there.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mark.
Hi there, Mark.
I'm going to get this started. Some people may jump in a little bit later. I'm wearing headphones so that you can hear me better with the microphone. And so I can hear you better too if we're speaking together. I'm going to do the presentation. There's going to be a slideshow along with it. And you can ask questions at the end. Okay? Are we all okay with that? There is also a chat button at the bottom if you need to put something in. Actually, Carrie, can you put in where you're coming from, where you're watching from? I'd love to see the comments afterwards. Oh, so you're in Maryland. Nice.
Yes, East Coast.
East Coast. I love the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast in Canada, so.
Well, we got bizarre weather here today in Maryland. It's only like 74 degrees.
Yeah. Well, we've had a heat wave and now we've had a deluge of rain and thunderstorms. So if my power goes out, I'm going to reschedule. Okay. Just don't worry. Just go away and I'll get back to you with a replay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to get started. Some people may come in and that's fine. So first of all, I just want to welcome you all. And I'm so happy to see you here today and to share with you the aroma freedom technique that was created by Dr. Benjamin Purkis in the late 1990s. While he was working in eye movement, okay, hi Kelly. While he was working in eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, commonly known as EMDR, he discovered a connection between emotions and scent, or the sense of smell. And so with that newfound knowledge, and with his 20 plus years being a clinical psychologist, and his 15 years of being an essential oil user, he was able to create the aroma freedom technique where you could take disturbing memories and reprocess them into positive, happy memories. It's a really almost a magical technique, really, because the changes are so intense, so different from the beginning to the end. It's amazing. So using AFT, I'm able to help people with chronic disease like fibromyalgia, leaky gut, autoimmune diseases, people who have a lot of chronic pain and emotional roller coaster, because when you have chronic pain, your emotions are up here one day because you feel good, and then they're down here the next day because you feel really crappy, right? And then they're back up again because you've got a good day, and then they're back down again because you've got a bad day, and you're having depression, and some people have PTSD and all of these things, and they can't do the things that they'd love to do. So I help them to reprocess their traumatic memories from earlier in life, create happier memories, get rid of some of, if not all, of that pain so that they can, like me, even get out of bed in the morning without help, make it to the bathroom in time, because that's a thing. And, just even just take a shower because that's exhausting when you're in a lot of pain. And the thing is with pain, you don't you don't react to like, oh, I don't feel good today. That's just life, right? You react to pain. So you're not even thinking about those emotions as having been part of your pain process. And it's been proven, it's been known for decades that emotional trauma in your early years, especially, creates these stress hormones that keep you in the fight, flight, or freeze mode, and they're constantly attacking your body. And even if you forget and you bury those emotions like I did, your body doesn't forget and it keeps pumping out those stress hormones, an overabundance of stress hormones. And eventually they start attacking your body in different ways. And so, the last straw that your body tries to give you is, hey, you didn't listen to me. I'm going to give you some pain. Now you have to listen. So I help them get rid of some of that pain, maybe even all of it at times, get them off that emotional roller coaster so they can go and do the things that they love to do, like camping or hiking or, even going shopping with friends. But that's not all. AFT was designed for everybody from small children to adults. And it can help with issues like negative self-talk, unsettling memories, grief, self-sabotaging behaviors, fear, anger, guilt, shame, bad habits, cravings, weight loss, limiting beliefs, focus on completing tasks, being consistent, and that's especially important when you're dealing with maybe weight loss. You want to be on a diet. How do I be consistent? Or in a business, if you have a career and you want to be consistent in up leveling in your career. I've got a quote here from Dr. David Stewart. Anybody who's into essential oils probably knows about him. He says, when an essential oil penetrates into the central brain, it makes it possible for us to access forgotten memories of emotions with which we need to deal. Stored emotions can make us sick. If they're stored in the stomach, you can have stomach issues. If they're stored in the pancreas, you can have diabetes. If they're stored in the spine, I mean, he didn't say this, but if they're stored in the spine, you can have disc degeneration. If they're stored in the kidney, you can have kidney disease. And back to the quote. In such cases, yes, Julia, anger can cause colon cancer. Quite right. In such cases, some emotional trauma has been repressed and stored in the cellular memory that blocks our natural ability to let love flow towards ourselves and to others. Hence, when essential oils trigger an emotionally upsetting memory, it gives us an opportunity to deal with that emotion and release it from our system. That's the end of the quote, obviously. The whole Aroma Freedom family consists of 6 different techniques that can help you deal with pretty much everything that life has to offer you, whether it's something that's just kind of annoying or something that's deeply, deeply troubling. For instance, if you're constantly reminded of something or you have recurrent nightmares about something, you haven't resolved that memory. I'm sorry, but you just haven't. You've maybe buried it, but you didn't resolve it. And that's where I come in. I'm Margaret Koski, and I am a certified Aroma Freedom practitioner, having studied directly under Dr. Benjamin Purkis. Now, what better part of studying is there than studying under the founder of the technique, right? It's pretty amazing. And I've added in my own life experiences to make yours and my clients' experience even better. First, a disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I am, however, a certified aroma freedom practitioner, and I can lead you through the process of dealing with those unsettling emotions and coming out the other side with a happier, more positive outlook. Now, aroma freedom technique is only one mode of techniques that are used to help with trauma and PTSD and all kinds of life's annoyances. But here's the thing, some things work for some people and not for others. And they keep having to go back and forth or try different things to find out what works. Aroma freedom is one of those things that works. It can work by itself, or it can work in conjunction with psychiatric treatment or a psychologist. It all works together. So now some people I know will have other commitments, or they couldn't even come today, or their colleagues couldn't come, their friends, whatever. Send me an email at hello@withmark.com and put in the title AFT replay, and I'll send you the replay link to share with others. So a little bit about myself, because not everybody knows who I am. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. Hey, how many other people can say that, right? A lot of them can say that their family was dysfunctional. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just stating where I'm coming from, so you know how AFT worked for me, and then we'll go through the slideshow in a few minutes. When I was very young, my mom insisted that my aunt come to live with us. She made it sound really fun, and we were all looking forward to it. And, you know, the reality was that my aunt had mental illness. Now, I'm not disparaging mental illness. People can't help that they have mental illness. They just need some help, okay? But as a child, growing up with that in my house, my aunt was schizophrenic. She had multiple personalities, and she was violent at the drop of a hat. You just never knew when she was going to beat someone. Not very fun. I had a mother who seemed to take joy in humiliating me in front of other people, friends, family, strangers, even. Humiliation. I had a father who told me I was his soulmate and had an unnatural affection for me. Now, there was a lot more going on. That's just the tip of the iceberg right there. But that was enough. I could either kind of go crazy, or I could bury those things deep inside of me, because I was a child. I didn't know how to deal with these things. So I buried them. Get over it. Get on with life. Okay. That's what I did. I thought I was fine. On the outside, I looked like I was a happy child. On the inside, I was a nervous wreck. Fast forward a few years, I got asthma, I got fibromyalgia, I got kidney disease, all of these things and more. And I went through a lot of different treatments because the pain was so bad. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. I tried massage therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, cupping, acupressure, Bowen therapy, hypnotherapy, stem cell injections. I went gluten-free, gave up coffee and wine. I went to physiotherapy. I went to the gym. I had a personal trainer, because, you know, you need to be fit, right? Because exercise is good for the body. Well, when you have fibromyalgia, you just have pain afterwards. I eliminated all the toxic chemicals in my house. Even my makeup, skincare, cleaners, everything in my house is toxic free, even my food. But that's another class that I have, so I won't go into details there. Now, I want to say that all of these things did help to some extent, okay? I'm not saying that nothing helped. These things all have their place and they all do help. But the problem was I was still in pain. So I decided to take a friend's offer and try an AFT session with her. And, you know, that sort of started me on the road to becoming an AFT practitioner because I felt so much better after that one session. So, you know, I was gradually getting out of this fight, flight, freeze mode, and gradually I was feeling the weight lifted off my shoulders. I just became a brighter, happier person. So that's where I come from. That's what started me with AFT and how I became an AFT practitioner. And now I would like to share my screen with you because we'll go through the slideshow and we'll do questions at the end. Slideshow from the beginning. Come on. Oh my goodness. You just don't want to do this, do you? There we are. Now we have it. So this again is the Aroma Freedom Technique created by Dr. Benjamin Purkis, a licensed psychologist. And there is Dr. Purkis, lovely man, very caring. He has been a clinical psychologist since, I can't read that, but 1995. Yes, it was. He's been an essential oil user and teacher since 2001, and he's been trained in multiple traditional and alternate approaches. And I did mention EMDR. He's done quite a few others as well. He's internationally recognized teacher and trainer and author of the book, The Aroma Freedom Technique, Using Essential Oils to Transform Your Emotions and Realize Your Heart's Desire. And he is also the creator of the Aroma Freedom Academy. So I mentioned earlier that Aroma Freedom is a family of techniques. So there are 6 techniques currently. The memory resolution technique, the one at the bottom here, you'll see it's from our past. It's something that haunts us all the time. It keeps coming up. We may kind of suppress it, but it just keeps popping up. We might even have nightmares about it, recurring nightmares. And so the memory resolution technique helps us deal with that. The Aroma Clear, now that's something that gets triggered in the present from something in the past. And the best way I can explain it is if you're sitting down at the dinner table with your kids, or you know, anybody, but I'm using kids, and say one of your children reaches over to get the potatoes and they knock over their glass of milk and it's all over the table. You know, you could just react and say, well, go get something and wipe it up, and then pour another glass of milk. Where's the music coming from?
I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute.
Okay. So again, you could just get them to mop it up, clean it up, pour another glass of milk. But if it in fact triggers something from the past, you react in a way that it's over the top. Okay, you might just say, oh my God, you spilled the milk, you're so clumsy, what did you do that for? Get that cleaned up and get out of the room. You know, and that's uncalled for. But you couldn't really help it because at that moment you were triggered by something in your past. The Aroma Reset, That's something pretty quick, about a minute or two. That's all that takes. It's about your day, okay? Today. You might have something overwhelming that you've got to get done. Maybe you've got 3 or 4 things to do, or maybe something happened or is about to happen that you're just, how am I going to deal with it? So it's in the present, okay? Very quick process to alleviate that. Aroma boost is something in the near future, like maybe within the next week or so, and you're procrastinating about it because you either don't know how to do it or you don't want to do it. And my favorite one to talk about is doing your taxes, because I hate doing my taxes. So I could say, okay, I'm going to do my taxes today, but I think the laundry needs doing. I think I'll do the laundry because, who wouldn't rather do laundry even than taxes, right? And then you go back and you think, okay, I've got the laundry done. Now I can handle the taxes. Oh, wait, I got a phone call I got to make, and you just keep going and going until the end of the week when it's due. And it's like, oh my gosh, where did the week go? And now I absolutely have to do it. How am I going to get started? The aroma freedom technique is something that's a little more in the future. And it could be something that's going to take quite some time. Like maybe you want to lose a lot of weight, maybe even 100 pounds. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you're planning on some retirement trip, but you're really not sure if you can do it or not. So you're feeling stuck, and that process will get you unstuck. And then the 6th technique, the newest one that Dr. Perkis created, is called the doomsday technique, where we're worried about something in the future. And he created it specifically for these times of COVID, world unrest. I mean, how many things do we worry about? Honestly, we worry about finances. We worry about our health. We worry about all kinds of things. We all intrinsically know that worry is not going to help it. It's not going to change anything, but we do it anyway. So the doomsday technique will help us get rid of that worry. Any questions on this one yet? No? Okay, we'll go to the next slide. So there are 3 facts about human nature. Fact number 1, we are designed to explore and grow. And you can see this very explicitly here. A baby learning about his new world, someone out traveling, learning about new places in the world, even scientists learning about new ways of doing things, new ways of creating medications or what have you. And that's very apropos right now because of the COVID vaccines, right? Fact number 2, we're designed to learn from experiences and avoid pain by creating inner rules. You can see here this little boy, he's very quickly going to learn that you don't touch hot things. This couple here has learned that if you say things in a certain way, you're going to cause some unrest in your relationship. And over here, of course, you can see if you don't pay attention driving, guess what? You're going to have an accident. Fact number 3, we're designed to hide these inner rules from our conscious awareness because honestly, if these thousands of inner rules were constantly at our beck and call, constantly, circulating in our brains, we wouldn't have any capability of, let me just admit someone else. We wouldn't have any capability of concentrating on other things. So we hide them, just like this dog. He knows he can't go over here. Doesn't really know why, but he knows it hurts. So now when we have negative thoughts, we get, I can't do it. I'm not worthy. I have to be perfect. I can't do this because of that. Okay, these negative thoughts, they keep us from doing the things that we really would like to get done in life, but for some reason we can't get started. So where do these negative thoughts come from? Any ideas?
Feeling not being good enough.
Okay, feeling not being good enough, but where did that thought come from?
Put downs.
Being put down. Yes, came from other people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it came from our parents, came from our teachers, it came from our friends, it came from our family, it came from television, it came from movies, it came from the whole world around us. There are negative thoughts surrounding us everywhere. So what can we do? You can see this lady on the left here. She's terrified of giving a speech. I mean, she's sweating bullets. Her heart's racing. She just feels horrible, just the thought of it. And you can just kind of hear those little voices in her head. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to mess up. People are going to laugh at you. You're going to get tongue-tied, and so forth and so on. And you know what that does? It stops her from ever getting her message out. The lady on the right, she's confident in what she's doing. So with AFT, we can go from this lady on the left and become this lady on the right. So we talked about negative thoughts and where they come from. How do we overcome them? Do we just fight them? Do we ignore them and think about something else? Do we replace them with positive affirmations? Well, let's take these one at a time. If you fight the negative thoughts, how long is that going to last? It's going to last until the sentence is over, right? You're going to be fighting these thoughts all day long for the rest of your life. If you ignore them and go, say, read a book or watch TV, when you're done that, they're going to come back again. If you replace them with positive affirmations and don't do anything else with them, you're going to be saying those positive affirmations until the cows come home. And, you know, who wants to do all that stuff? That takes a lot of work. So what we propose is that you dissolve the negative thoughts. Hey, we just get rid of them. And we do that with our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and memories and essential oils. The Aroma Freedom technique uses essential oils because we know that the sense of smell is linked to emotions. It's an easy and gentle process. You can use it on yourself or you can use it on others to help control your emotions. Here's the good part. There's no diagnosis involved. It's not medical. So the client, whether you're a client or somebody else is a client, doesn't even have to talk about the traumatic memories. Okay, we have a way around that. Typically in therapy, typical therapy sessions, you have to talk about it. Who wants to talk about it? I don't. I went through that with hypnotherapy. It wasn't fun. So you don't have to talk about it. I don't have to know. You don't have to share it with me. That's the good part about it. You can keep it private. We use Young Living essential oils only because they are the purest and most effective oils in the world. They're proven effective, adopted by thousands of people worldwide. And here's just a picture of the book that Dr. Perkis wrote to go along with the Aroma Freedom technique. So, are you ready? Are you ready to be free in your career, your relationships, your wellness, your spirituality, your recreation? Are you ready to level up in your career? Are you ready to have a better family life? Are you ready to feel healthier, be healthier? Are you ready to do the things that you used to love to do? I was told I would never garden again. Well, guess what? I started gardening. Not only did I start gardening, but I refurbished about a 14 or 16 foot by 5 foot garden pond, which meant I had to crawl into that pond and dig out all the debris from 10 years of not being here, lifting rocks and filling it up. Who can do that when you have fibromyalgia pain? Does that tell you I got rid of most of it? I didn't get rid of it all, but I got rid of most of it. So, how does AFT work? Well, the response to smell is powerful and automatic. This lady here at the bottom, she's gonna, well, she's thinking about eating something, but look at her expression. She smelled it. It doesn't smell very good. So she's not going to eat that. You see the rabbit here. He smelled a predator. Now, he could go, oh, I smell a predator. I smell, let's say it's a fox. I smell a fox. I don't see a fox. Maybe it's okay. No, he doesn't do that. The sense of smell spurs him on to get the heck out of Dodge, find someplace safe so he doesn't get eaten. Okay? The sense of smell is so powerful and so automatic because it is linked to our survival. It is the actual first sense that we ever had, that we ever developed in the womb before we were born. That's how important it is. The very first sense. It tells us when there's danger. It tells us when it's safe. So, smell and the brain. We know that essential oils users know anyway, but the layperson may not know that when you smell an essential oil, it immediately goes into the brain. It's about the only thing that connects directly to the brain. If you taste something or if you touch something, that doesn't go to the brain. Only the sense of smell goes directly to the brain. So, and it goes to the limbic system of the brain, which is where this primitive safe and unsafe feeling is. Okay, we decide from that sense of smell whether we have to run away like the rabbit, whether we can eat food or not eat food. It is our first warning signal that something's not right. So the amygdala, which is this little guy right here, that triggers the fight, flight, freeze survival response. And the hippocampus right next to it tempers it. So let me give you an example. You smell something burning. The amygdala is going to say, oh, something's burning. You better watch out. You're in danger. Maybe it's your house. And so you're going to start to run around and look and see what's burning. But, oh, hold on. The hippocampus steps in and says, oh, wait, don't worry. Your neighbor's burning leaves. Your house isn't burning. You can calm down now. But, I mean, on the other hand, if your house is burning, it's going to say, yeah, it's burning. Get out of there. And you're going to react accordingly, right? So memories are predictive. Now, that's kind of hard to understand at first until I explain. We have our memories, okay? But what happened in that memory predicts what happens in a similar situation in your present or future time. Let me give you an example of that. And this is not a pretty example. So a woman's walking down the street at night. Maybe she's going home from work or what have you. And a man approaches her. And he's a tall man and he's wearing a long coat. Maybe she can see that he's got dark hair, but as he comes closer, she can smell cigarette smoke or aftershave or something, she smells that. As the man gets closer, he grabs her, pulls her into the bushes and hurts her. Now, for this particular example, she is okay. Okay, she comes out of that and he leaves. But when she's walking down the street next time and a man starts coming towards her, she's already going to be a little anxious because she's remembering what happened with the previous situation. And as the man gets closer, if he smells a similar way, she might actually have a panic attack because her memory has predicted what can happen now. Another example is I was bullied at school, and you might come away with this implicit memory that people don't like me. I'm never going to have any friends. I might as well just be a loner for the rest of my life. So what does that do? It gives us feelings of fear, lack of confidence. We're sad and hopeless. We feel procrastination. We feel stuck. We have unmet goals and dreams. I'm just going to make a little aside here for just a moment, because when I was at my worst with my fibromyalgia, my husband and I would be laying in bed at night and he would be talking about all his dreams and things that he wanted to do. And, and finally he noticed how quiet I was. And he said to me, well, what are your goals and dreams? I said, I don't have any. All I could see was pain. All I could see was I might end up in a wheelchair. All I could see was there was no money. There was nothing. Why bother to hope or dream? So it's really sad when you have these unmet goals and dreams. Our solution, what we're going to do with AFT, we dissolve the limiting mindsets. We resolve the negative memories. We create new and more empowering beliefs. We take meaningful action in the direction of your goals. In essence, we get out of jail. We find our freedom. How do we do this? Well, we have to activate the initial memory. Okay, we have to remember what that is. We don't have to talk about it. We just have to remember. We have to focus on the image it brings up, the feeling that it brings up, where we feel it in the body, and the negative thought. Okay, so all of this is negative stuff. You're going to feel bad for, a couple minutes. Big deal. It's not like feeling bad for a whole lifetime. And then in order to change that memory, we have to make a mismatch. Okay, so with all these negatives here, we have emotions running around. We have cortisol and stress hormones running around. We have to make a mismatch between how we react to it to what it actually was. Okay, so we do that with essential oils. When we smell the essential oils, we calm down. So now there's a mismatch. We've got these negative feelings and events, but now we've mismatched it with feeling calm and secure. And then we can go through and finish the experience, have a positive outcome to what it was we were experiencing. Not change the memory. Memories are always there. Change how we react to the memory, how we feel. So we know that in religious ceremonies, there is a lot of incense being used, and they use that because I'm trying to find my notes here, but I can't seem to find, I went too far ahead. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They use these because they calm us down enough to get out of our day-to-day jumble of feelings and concentrate on our spiritual being. Okay, that's why they burn incense. That's why they have frankincense and all those wonderful things in the religious rituals. They've used them for centuries. And we know that smell is powerful and goes back to memory, because can you remember a time when you smelled something and you were immediately transported back to a memory? The lady on the left, she's baking, and when she smells those cookies, she might be remembering being in her grandmother's kitchen. Happy memories. The lady on the right, smelling the flowers, maybe some special occasion she's remembering. For some people, it might be the smell of gasoline or motor oil because they enjoyed helping their father in the garage fixing the vehicles. It's the smells are just so laden with memories. So we know that they connect with your memories. And we use essential oils because what better way to use a scent that's pure, concentrated, and has consistent results. And they're safe. We know that aromas are soothing. We just talked about how they use them in the church and other places. Now, these next few slides, these are slides from a database that Dr. Perkis collected of over 3,000 people, 3,411 to be exact, who were in the certification program, who logged in their results, okay? So you can see this is before we do anything with AFT. This is where we just say what we would like to be able to do. We haven't done anything yet. The majority of people were at a 3 out of 10. 0 means no hope at all. 10 means absolutely confident. Obviously, if you're at a 10, you don't need AFT, okay? But most people were at a 3. Now, watch what happens after one round of AFT. We still have 3,411 responses, but the people who were at 3 moved up to a 5 and gathered some along the way. Some of them were at a 6 and a 7 already. Some are at an 8. So we went from an average of 3 to an average of 5. Now, ones that are at 9 and 10, if there are no negative thoughts left, they will drop off. They won't do another round. They'll wait until after the rounds are finished and then finish their session. So we're going to go to the second round. At the end of the second round, there were 2,938 people. But look at this. We jumped up from a 5 to an 8. Amazing result. And each round is only about 10 minutes. So you can see that's a pretty quick result. So again, 9 and 10 will have dropped off. Some of the 8s might have dropped off. For the third round, at 1,733 responses, now we're at 8, 9, and 10. Amazing results. So why do we use Young Living essential oils? Well, because we know that they're pure. We know the way they were grown and harvested. We know the way they were distilled. We know the way they were bottled. We know they've been tested 3 or 4 times for each batch in-house, and then they've been sent out for third-party testing. We know all that. We have a seed to seal guarantee to prove it. All of our farms, and we have our own, or they have their own farms. I keep saying we, but only because I also use Young Living. They have their seed to seal guarantee. So we know how everything was done. They have inspired blends. Now, Gary Young made a lot of blends through his experience using essential oils over the many years. And he never created a blend because it smelled good. I mean, you can use a single essential oil and make your house smell good. He created the blends to actually do something. Because let's take lavender, for instance. It has over 300 different uh, types of molecules that can react in your brain to work on different things. Each oil has many different uses. And when you blend them together in a synergistic compound, you're using all of those abilities of the oils to work on a specific thing. Okay, it might be calming, it might be releasing emotions, it might be transforming your life, it might be higher potential where you're looking to further your career, all kinds of different things. And because they're so pure, they give consistent results. Now it's your turn. I'm going to not take you through a session. I'm going to show you a session. If you were going through a session, you would need your oils and it would take a lot longer. I'm going to show you one round quickly how it works. So first of all, goals of aroma freedom. We said we want to dissolve the negative thoughts, feelings, and memories. We want to create feelings of hope, confidence, and excitement. We want to clear the stress out of past memories. We want to resolve the stress in current situations. We want to connect with inner guidance, intuition, and clarity. We want to boost our motivation for meaningful action. And we want to set and reach amazing goals. So this is obviously for a group. Some in a group will have life-changing experiences. Single session clients will most likely have a life-changing experience. Maybe they'll have amazing results. People in a group who don't react as well as others may want a one-on-one session with me. And I offer those if they're already in the group and they haven't received the benefit that they need. It's not because it doesn't work, it's because they need a different technique. And I can't, do that in a group. I have to just take one technique and run with it. So I will give them a single session. I'm not going to leave them hanging. And I do this actually with all my sessions. I don't leave anybody hanging. Sessions can last anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. Very rarely goes over 2 hours, but sometimes it does. I only charge by the session. I don't charge by the hour. Okay, so this technique is something you experience and you are part of. You don't just observe it. And the one rule is if you start a round, you have to finish that round, but it's preferable to finish all 12 steps. Okay, so a good intention, something you would love to have. We have to figure out what you want to work on, something you're excited about, something you're not sure what the next step is or how to get there. So for me, I grew up in the 50s and 60s. I loved 60s music, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Herman's Hermits, all that stuff. That was my music. I loved it. And then not too long ago, it made me really sad. I mean, sad to the point where if I heard it, I would cry. And it wasn't until I figured out that it was because I was remembering all these young people having a good time singing and so successful in their careers and how I loved their music. And they weren't those people anymore. They were old. Not that old is a bad thing, but some of them were drug addicted. Some of them had Alzheimer's. Some of them died. Some of them, some of the groups, there were only 1 or 2 people left. And it's like, oh, that was so sad. and it just washed over me in a sheet of sadness. So my goal was to be happy when I heard 60s music. And when I set my intention, that was to be happy listening to 60s music, and I rated it. I think I rated it about a 3 because 0 was impossible. And I knew with AFT it was possible. But if I was at a 9 or a 10, well, what did I need the session for? I knew I needed the session. I was crying. I mean, hey, you know, so that was the first step. And then you listen for the negative voice. And that's how I figured out as well what was really bothering me about the 60s music. I didn't use these like no one will listen. I'll make a fool of myself. I'll fail. I used other things, you know, to go with my goal. So, but a lot of times people will have these. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have the money. I can't do it. I've always failed. Why would I succeed if I've always failed? I'm always going to fail. The third step is to notice how you feel when you hear that negative voice inside your head. And it's only a one-word thing. Okay, one-word emotion. Do you feel sad, humiliated, guilty? Do you feel shame, anger, fear? Whatever that feeling is, that's what it is. It's the first one that comes up. You write it down. All these things you have to write down so that when we go through the second and third round, you can see your progress and you can go back to your original goal the way you wrote it. So step 4 is, okay, I've got my goal. I've got the negative thought. I've got the negative feeling that it gave me. Where do I feel that in my body? Do I feel a headache coming on? Do I feel like my throat is constricting? Do I feel it tight in my chest? Do I feel a weight on my shoulders? Or maybe I'm just dejected and you know, I'm not going to look at anybody. Wherever it is, you write it down. Step 5, you drift back to an earlier time when you felt the same way. And it's the very first memory that pops up. It could be just one snapshot, or it could be a movie of sorts. And when I say a movie, maybe your thought or your earlier memory was your parents fighting, and you were just so afraid whenever they fought, but they fought a lot. So maybe you would take several of those and think about those as a movie of how you felt the same way. And you would write that memory down. Then, step 6, you would focus on that snapshot or the movie while you smell the essential oils. And we use specific oils for specific rounds of AFT. You just put it on the palm, rub your palms together, and make a tent over your nose and smell them. It's a little bit more than that. I mean, if you're going through a session, you'll find out how exactly to do all of this. But then you'll see what happens to the image, the thoughts, and the feelings. Because typically they'll disappear, they'll fade away, they'll become hard to see, hard to remember. And those are all good things. Then occasionally in the first round, but not usually in the first round, but maybe in the second or third round, you might notice new beliefs emerging, and you might identify creative ideas related to your goal or your intention. How am I going to do this? Is there something else that should go with that? Step 9, you're going to go back to the very beginning and read your original intention out loud. Okay, so now you've had one complete round and you want to rate where you are now after the one round, and it'll be 0 to 10. If your rating is 8 or less, you're going to do another round. If it's 8 or more and there are no more negative thoughts coming to you, then you can wait until the rest of the people in the group or if you're by yourself until you go on to the next step, which is step 10, creating an affirmation. Now, this should be something positive, happy, something you're looking forward to, something that you'll be excited about, okay? But you want to put it in the present tense. If you put it in the future tense, it's always in the future. You never get to the future because tomorrow is always tomorrow. Next week is always next week. So you want it in the present tense. So for me, with that 60s music, I love listening to 60s music. That was my affirmation. If you want to lose 50 pounds, I love the new body. I love my new body as I've lost the 50 pounds. Things like that. Whoever's taking you through the process will brainstorm with you and help you come up with an appropriate affirmation. Step 11. Now, some people kind of think this is a little weird, but honestly, this is a very necessary part of the process. If you don't do this, you're going to revert right back to where you originally were, feeling miserable. Okay, so we have what's called a power pose, and these are done standing up. I can't stand up and show you because you won't see what I'm doing because behind me, there's too much stuff in the way. I can't get back far enough. So, excuse me. We have the victory pose up here in the left. We have the heart-centered pose. We have the Wonder Woman pose. And we have the I am strong pose. Okay. Now, the pose that you will choose is the one that seems appropriate for your intention and your affirmation. Typically for me, I will start with the victory pose and then partway through, I will use the heart-centered pose because I find it just cements it further into my body. And what you're going to do is you've written your affirmation down. You're going to say your affirmation while you're smelling the appropriate essential oil and standing in your power pose. And you're going to do that for 2 minutes, right at step 11 of our session. And then after the session is over, you're going to set a timer and do it an hour later, 2 minutes, an hour later. And after that, you're going to do it twice a day for at least 3 days. And you know what that's going to do? That's going to cement the whole thing in your brain, take away the old crap that was in there, and give you a new positive outlook. And you will never look back. I can talk about things now that used to make me cry. I've dealt with them. It's been months. You know, it doesn't bother me to talk about them anymore. Sometimes maybe I say too much. But okay, so step 12. You want to make an action plan and take action daily. And that's important too, because you need to know how to get from where you are to where you want to go. And again, whoever's taking you through the process will brainstorm with you to come up with an appropriate plan and to come up with 2 or 3 different things that you can start to implement right away. And just because I've had people who are really stuck in their heads and they can't even think about an emotion that they're feeling. Trust me, those people exist. I've got a feelings wheel that we can go through and pick out something that happens to be close to what they're feeling. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. That's the end of the slideshow. And I want to thank you for coming today. We will have question time right after I'm done. And again, if you want a replay link for this, don't forget to email me at hello@withmarg.com and put AFT replay in the subject line. And feel free to share it with whoever you want. Also, feel free to visit my website, www.withmark.com. Sign up for the newsletters, read some of the blog posts, just kind of see what other AFT stuff is there. And there's other things there as well. It's not just all AFT. Client sessions, whether they're group or single, are usually done via Zoom, so people can be in the privacy and comfort of their own home. Gives them more of a feeling of not having to refill too much, right? If you need Kleenex, you can go get Kleenex, you know, that kind of thing. You don't have to rely on somebody else to supply it for you. And as mentioned, sessions generally last anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. Sometimes they go a little bit over. Personally, I charge by the session, so you know what you're paying for. Some people charge by the hour. And for the professionals who are going to view this on replay, at some point, your clients may be interested in a group session. I do offer those as well. And I need a minimum of 5 people, a maximum of 10, in order that I can provide a good service for those people. If the group is too big, I can't help people as much. Okay, I can maybe help a couple people as an example, but 5 or 10 people, it's doable. So because you stuck with me right till the end, I'm going to offer a little surprise. I've got an introductory rate for new clients at half off my regular price, valid until July 15th. So if you were to schedule an appointment today, pay for it by PayPal, you would pay half of what I normally charge. And I should say, if you actually do it today, you get an extra $5 off. So it's a pretty good deal. Sessions do not have to be completed by July the 15th. They just have to be scheduled and paid for by then in order to get the special. Okay, we're done with that. Does anybody have any questions?
I have to say, this is pretty powerful.
Thanks. I'm glad you
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
I appreciate you sharing your story because it connects other people. And there's people going through my head that are even family members or friends and even people on my downline. And I was trying to get an idea because when you mentioned about signing up with you by the July 15th and getting half off and can go on PayPal. So are you able to share what the cost would be for that?
I will do that after I finish recording because prices can fluctuate. So yeah, I can finish recording after the questions are done and then I'll share that with you. Anybody else?
So are there alternative poses that you can use for the power poses?
These are the ones that are recommended, but honestly, if something feels powerful to you, I don't see why you couldn't. Okay, it has to connect with you. I mean, for me, the victory because I'm winning, or, you know, I'm strong pose, or the heart-centered pose. Those are the ones that I do. I'm not personally fond of the Wonder Woman pose. It's like, yeah, listen to me, buddy. You know, that's what it says to me. But for some people, it works wonders. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But whatever really works for you, Kelly, that's what you should do.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we can talk about a couple other things.